And we're back. Our show has 3 segments each week. The first 2 include the experts on our panel joining us today. And the last segment is our restaurant reality segment. This is the time when we give you the full inside scoop and unbridled truth about buying or selling restaurants. We didn't sell hundreds of restaurants by being afraid of the 4-letter words in the industry. The F word for fail and the S word for sale.
Okay, we will get to restaurant reality, but in the meantime, we have some great questions. And we asked our guests to give us some questions, and I thought this was one of the most intriguing ones. Mike, you said, ask me this. Why do some franchisees fail? Let's get our panel to weigh in.
Well, you take a look at success in over the years and failure, and I think it boils down to the ability of the franchisee to grasp the concept of the franchise and follow through with its model. I think also franchisees fail simply because they think it's going to be you pay your money and you're going to make $1 million. It's more than that. It's about getting in there and working it, getting to understand your clients, getting to understand what they need, and every day you're blocking and tackling, and every day you try to make the shift that you're running better than the day before. And if you constantly do that, you'll succeed. The opposite of that is your lack of focus on the customer, lack of focus on the product. And when you fail to do both of those, a lot of times that's the failure is inevitable.
Wow. Well said. Jamie, do you have any thoughts on that same perspective? You sell a lot of franchises, so when you're selling them, obviously you never pick one that you believe is going to, fall into that failure realm, but occasionally it does happen. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think Mike is right on point. It really is about making sure that, as Karen mentioned earlier about education, and I take a very consultative and educational approach in the sales process so that I'm making sure that the folks that I talk to are fully aware of what they're up against in the restaurant business in general and the burger category specifically, and in making sure that they've got their finger on the pulse every day of what they need to be paying attention to. And Mike's exactly right. You got to be guest obsessed, and you got to be paying attention to the product and making sure that you're serving people the way that you'd want to be served. I think it's about making sure you're operating that system and paying attention to that. The other piece is, you got to be careful about location in the restaurant business in particular. In every real estate based franchise, you got to be careful about it. But in restaurants in particular, I have a lot of people come to me and say, "Hey, I got this great site," and it's usually probably not a great location for a Checkers or Rally's, but they're driven by that piece of it. And when you come into it from that perspective, you got to be super careful with that.
Jamie, are you indirectly saying that you would need a good restaurant broker to help you with your site location?
If that meets your purposes, I'm absolutely saying that.
I think that's what I heard. Karen, do you want to weigh in on that topic? Do you agree that really it's about failure to follow the system? It's when the franchisee kind of goes off the reservation that you sort of see that failure happen? Absolutely.
I also think if you couple that with, there's a difference between writing a business plan to develop and open a restaurant. But the difference is, and you should have that business plan, but what we don't see is a business owner plan. And what I mean by that is, you're going to train as a general manager for the system for the restaurant. So you have to understand the traits of, an employee, an operator, a general manager, the traits of a business owner, and actually map out your path. And really, that is the only true way to move to multi-unit franchise ownership, which is what everybody wants to do. That's where you're creating the wealth for you and your family. So again, if I circle back to the education, it's not just about learning that system, it's about learning to be a business owner. Now that can be very overwhelming in the industry. To me, I think, good resources are, the Restaurant Association and the Franchise Association. You can get a lot of free tools on those 2 websites to teach you how to be a business owner. You're talking about the National Restaurant Association, yes, and the
International Franchise Association.
Right. So that would be, franchise.org for the Franchise Association, and don't type in NRA because that's going to pull up a different website. But you also have restaurant.org.
Final thought on the subject. We talk a lot about the system and making sure you're following the system. I think it's important to recognize that not every system is perfect, and not every system is really one that you'd want to follow. So you need to look for franchisors who have a proven track record of success. Not in Karen's case, she's a startup franchisor, but she's very well experienced as a franchise professional. But you definitely want to look for a system and a process and people that are very experienced.
Good. Guys, in about 15 seconds apiece, one piece of advice somebody listening right now that wants to buy a franchise. Mike, go.
Consider all the factors that you've heard here today. Most importantly, buy a franchise that you can really love and have passion for and believe in. That's really the critical thing.
Excellent. Karen?
Research the brand, research both industries, the restaurant and the franchise industry. Talk to other franchise owners and work in a restaurant, not just 4 hours, but a shift to double shifts to really understand what it takes to run a successful restaurant.
So shadow somebody in there to better understand the brand.
Beyond shadowing, I would say work a shift.
Okay. Jamie?
It's all about people. Make sure, because this is a 20-year relationship that you're getting into, make sure that the relationship that you have with your franchisor is trust-based relationship, so that can feed through the rest of your franchise experience. It's all about people.
Great. So much good information, and we want to take a moment and thank our sponsors for today's show. Today's Restaurant, the food service industry newspaper, is one of our sponsors. Today's Restaurant is the trade newspaper for the food service industry, as well as GeorgiaRestaurantLaw.com. GeorgiaRestaurantLaw.com offers flat-fee legal services that you need for your food and beverage business, and obviously they can be found online, along with We Sell Restaurants. WeSellRestaurants.com and We Sell Restaurants are the nation's leaders in selling restaurants and food service industry businesses, as well as site location. I'm Robin Gagnon. I'm joined by Eric Gagnon. We are the Restaurant Brokers. Stay tuned for Restaurant Reality after this commercial break.